Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Productions, here to talk about an article I found. Is Closure Possible After Abuse? By Amanda Kippert. This article appeared on domesticshelters.org. This video is a sequel of sorts to my criticisms of This Is Us, Episode 5, The Long Road Home, in which I heavily criticized Kate's thread in that episode, in which she goes and sees a former boyfriend who happened to be abusive. I thought this adventure was ill-advised, stupid, and potentially dangerous. I'm less concerned about Kate than the message that this possibly sends to domestic abuse victims. I thought that was not a particularly good way to achieve closure from those type of relationships. I did not at the time have an answer for what would be a good way to achieve closure. But as promised, I said I would look into the matter, and I found this particular article, which seems to be the best of the bunch. Before we get into that, however, let's go over some statistics in regards to domestic abuse. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, on average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. During 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million women and men. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence, intimate partner contact sexual violence, and or intimate partner stalking with impacts such as injury, fearfulness, post-traumatic stress disorder, use of victim services, contraction of sexually transmitted diseases, etc. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. This includes a range of behaviors: slapping, shoving, pushing, and in some cases might not be considered domestic violence. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men have been injured by an intimate partner. 1 in 10 women have been raped by an intimate partner. Data is unavailable on male victims. I would venture to say that these issues are not taken seriously enough when they go against women, and they are not taken seriously at all when it comes to men. Now, there are many more statistics on this subject, but I believe that does for now. The article reads as follows. It might seem impossible right now, survivors, given where you are, but one day it's entirely probable you'll be able to look back on the abuse you endured as just another chapter of your story, and not the entire book. This is called closure. It doesn't mean you've forgotten what happened. That's not realistic. And it doesn't mean you've forgiven your abuser. Cue hilarious laughter from survivors. It also doesn't mean you've healed completely and have no residual effects from the abuse. What closure means to many survivors of intimate partner abuse is that they are moving on. They're starting anew. They're walking themselves, scars and all, into a safer and healthier future. This future may or may not include a new relationship. Many survivors like to take time after leaving an abusive partner to make sure they can make safe, healthy decisions about the next partner that comes their way. To find closure. After surviving rape and abuse from a dating partner at 18 years old, Beth Bowman shared with us in her survivor story that she found closure through witnessing and the strength of other survivors. My closure came from talking with other women who had been through similar things and seeing the kind of strength that can come out of it, and learning how abusers use all their different tactics. It made me go from victim to survivor. And Diane M. told us that she has yet to find closure, but hopes to someday find it by helping others, survivor moms, at the Battered Mothers Custody Conference. I hate thinking, woe is me, so much. I'm not getting closure, and I want to help other people. Be it altruism, time, space, or just some tough love self-talk, closure is a personal journey that can look different for every survivor. That's why we asked our survivor readers to share with us what worked for them after abuse. I escaped after 25 plus years of emotional abuse. I am attending college, and it is the best thing I have ever done for myself. I graduate in June with a BA in psychology and a minor in criminal justice. I want to be an advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves, said Jennifer. I hid for 4 years. I built myself up, paid for a killer shark attorney. I got closure the day I sat in the courtroom while the judge raked him over the coals, said Leah. Deleting all contact information and pulling away contact from his friends that became your friends. Unfortunately, all ties to the abuser need to be cut, or moving on is very difficult, said Alyssa. My journey became a book, and as I went on to a book tour for a year, I heard so many stories, so I wrote a second book, Patty. I allowed myself the painful process of healing and learned the importance of boundaries in every part of my life, which is hard because I'm naturally a helper to others. Allowing myself to see I was just as important as anyone I would be happy to help was key to my stepping away from that part of my life and moving forward, said Renee. There's many more pieces of this type of advice, but I'm going to move on to the 5 tips for moving forward. These tips come from the same article and are from the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Number 1. Cut off all contact with your abusive ex-partner. If you need to get something off your chest, write it in a letter, but don't send it. 2. Surround yourself with support. Consider joining a support group, talking to a counselor, or reaching out to a domestic violence advocate who will listen. 3. Take care of yourself. Here are 52 ways to make yourself a priority. I'm actually going to do a separate video on that, I believe. I'm not going to get into that now. 4. Remember that you will get better with time. You don't need to rush the healing process. And that is pretty much it for the article. In the description of this video, I'm going to include links to the domesticshelters.org, among others, which I hope will be helpful. If you like this video and would like to support this channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can join my Corman Productions Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can buy something from the Corman Productions store on Zazzle. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to my channel. This is Dave from Corman Productions, signing off.